that I would say is in the areas of the Kaya youth that I've seen some efforts. But when it comes to those who are drug addicted, I cannot confirm that I'm aware of any such move. But for the educational aspect, yes.
Okay. Fortunately, you are an economist. Okay, if you can just give us a fair idea of the existence of such people in the society, what kind of repercussions has it got on us as a nation?
It has a lot of repercussion. First of all, on their health status.
Right.
Once they take them and then in large quantities, it affects their health. Tramadol, for instance, I'm told the long-term effect can be on your kidney and some other parts, essential parts of the body. So you have health implications. Besides that, this will put pressure on the limited health facilities that we have in the country. And then it will affect their own individual economies, because the time they will have to use in working, they will spend that precious time lotting around and taking the drugs.
Right.
So they will not do anything good to earn a living. And since they will need financial resources also to acquire these drugs, definitely if they cannot have it through legal, genuine means, then they will go around stealing, robbing people, and it will have serious repercussions also in the security within the region and the country as a whole. Because when they practice them in Ashanti region and maybe they are found out, they are known, they will try to apply it outside the region where they might not be known. So it has serious security implications. It has also long-term effects. Don't forget that even though they are taking the drugs, they are not working. They can come into contact with a female, impregnate the person, they will bring out some children, and they don't have the needed resources to support. All these will lead to serious burdens, economic burdens on the country. So we have various dimensions of negative repercussions for the country.
Okay, I want to move away from the drug menace to job creation. We've seen a number of statistics from this administration, this government, telling us how many jobs have been created across the country. For you, the Ashanti Regional Minister, can you tell us how many jobs have been created for hitherto unemployed people in this region?
We've not done any concrete survey to record maybe the jobs that have been created. But that notwithstanding, I know several people have been engaged. If you take the National Youth Employment Authority, they've engaged several people. If you take the Planting for Food and Jobs, they've engaged people. Even though, as I speak, we've not commissioned any factory under the One District, One Factory initiative. There are several of them going on. Definitely they engage some masons and some people who are working on the projects. These are temporary and casual employment.
Right.
There are some people like nurses and teachers within the region who were engaged. For instance, with the onset of the implementation of the free SHS, several people were employed as teaching and non-teaching staff from the region. I know some people also have been enlisted onto the security service. Some are undergoing training. Some of them is in the process. They've not completed the whole process. There are several areas, but to tell you specifically that we've done a proper survey, we've not done that.
Okay.
We've not done.
So you think so far the people of the Ashanti region are satisfied with this administration in the area of job creation?
Not fully satisfied. I doubt we can have any economy in the world where people will be completely or totally satisfied. But what I can say is that there was significant improvement, and we are not still out of the woods yet. We have a lot to do. If you take the One District, One Factory, we have about 53
for this region?
55 projects that are in the pipeline.
Okay.
But I can say about 35 of them have been endorsed and accepted by the Secretariat, which are at different levels of completion.
How soon will the first one be ready?
Oh, there's one that is prepared, ready for, even there's one in my own constituency or something, the processed oil. They are even ready for commissioning.
Okay.
And then I know there's one also at Santiachim South,
okay.
That is Jasu area. That is also nearing completion. That is for the processing of pork into sausages and other type of pork products. There's one also on cassava. At least I know about 8-10 which are close to completion. Yes.
Okay. Now, still on jobs, we know, I mean, you've told us of the number of people who have so far been able to get jobs, but there are some who, due to circumstances, are sitting at home. I'm talking about the small-scale miners.
Yeah.
And you have quite a number in the Ashanti region. How are you dealing with their complaints to you, to your office, that they are at home, they have no income, they do not know what to do, they are at their wits' end, some have thrown their hands in the air, they just completely don't know what to do? What do you tell them?
All that I would tell them is for them to exercise patience. It's good everybody works. It's good everybody earns income. But we should earn income from legal activities. Activities that do not have long-term drastic negative effect on society, on the next generation. Generation is gone. They live to preserve this country for us. And it's our obligation to also live and leave this country for the next generation. So that whatever we are doing, we have to ensure that there's minimal negative effect on the environment, on society, on the next generation. If our forests, our river bodies have been destroyed by our ancestors, I don't think we have inherited what we have now. So that is what we do. I know it's biting, it's difficult when you are living without any income generation activities, but it's temporary. Because of the seriousness, the government and the president consider this particular or attached to this particular activity. That is why he even went ahead to set up an interministerial committee on illegal mining. I know they've drafted a document. It's almost at the completion stage. They are going to give us the roadmap as to how the ban will be lifted. And then when it's lifted, there are several activities that will be undertaken. They will get back their job and do it in decency and respect the environment, respect our water bodies, to minimize even some of the costs we are incurring, which are avoidable. I think you might have heard on several occasions when the Ghana Water Company has come out to tell us the reason why they continuously demand for higher tariffs, because the cost of processing the water for our consumption has gone up significantly. And all these are as a result of Galamsey activities. Galamsey has been there ever since our ancestors did it, but they never spoiled the environment. They never destroyed the water bodies. Me, I'm from a village. When I was young, anytime we were going to the farms, we get to a stream, you just take a leaf and then you start drinking from the stream. Now nobody can do that. You see the effect of cyanide and all those things, which are very serious. So they should exercise patience.
Do they complain to you? Do they?
They do often.
They do often.
Yes.
And you tell them to be patient. How do they take that advice?
You know, initially it was easier at the point, you know, they became agitated and sometimes wanted to get on the street. There were a few occasions, some of them even went on the street, but in my principle, demonstrations to me do not, in most instances, solve problems.
What does?
Negotiations.
Okay.
You see, you sit down, you negotiate, you tell the person why the person should do A or B or C. And if that is not done, the consequences on society, not only on the person alone, because sometimes on that person alone, yes, it will be perfect, it will be excellent, but on larger society, it will be negative. So you should be able to convince people, and then they will buy into your argument and quickly take the necessary actions. But some of them do go on demonstrations. And I know at the end of the day, we will see the light at the end of the tunnel. The next thing is they themselves, some of them, you see, do not respect the man. And some are still doing the illegal mining.
Still?
Yes, and you have to send the military, the police, Operation Vanguard people to go and arrest them. Even just last week, some were arrested. And if they have stopped completely, it would have made the things quite easier. For their refusal, is making things more difficult.
Because there are people depending on them. They need to pay fees, they need to pay bills.
Yes. The fact that you have dependents does not mean go and hide in a forest reserve and start growing marijuana. Once it's outlawed, it's outlawed. So we have to take the necessary steps and see what we can do. You see, we should be able to obey laws. Society is dynamic. And because society is dynamic, at any point in time, there are issues that will arise that will affect negatively some other sects of the society. But what you need to do is that you see if you can get a change as a result of improvement on what you were doing, or a change as a result of change in business activity. So at any point you have this. That is why laws over the years keep on changing, keep on amending, because you may make a law today, and due to the circumstances tomorrow, due to developments tomorrow, you may need to amend it to conform to the current status of society. So when there's a ban, let's negotiate, let's joy, and then give your input. But I thank God that the document is almost ready.
Right.
And I know it will not be too long when the government or the president will announce the roadmap. I cannot tell the next 1 week or the end of the month, but I know the draft document is ready, and maybe cabinet will have a look at it.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about another menace that has also been a problem for the Ashanti region. We'll talk to the Honorable Ashanti Regional Minister about Fulani herdsmen in a bit.
State of Affairs brought to you by Cowbell Gold and
Everywhere You Go, MTN.
The Cowbell Vita-Rich formula has been stolen. Get it back at all costs.
Tasting Cowbell with Vita-Rich has the 28 vitamins and minerals you need to be at the top of your game. Delicious, nutritious Cowbell with Vita-Rich, our milk.
Welcome to Appointed Time Screen Printing, our home of printing solutions. Say a ban of advanced screen printing, large format printing, heat transfer, digital embroidery, and a general printing app. Appointed Time Screen Printing should be your first choice. Your quality modern machines are your day printing, and you to me printing of Flexi, SAV, caps, any key holders in our. Hey, share. Because saying now you're printing me. Appointed Time Screen Printing. And you're picking crying.
Madina O Road. Madina. Madam. Aula O Road.
Be your own DJ with MTN Music Plus. Download and install the MTN Music Plus app from Google Play Store and stream your customized playlist anytime, anywhere. MTN Music Plus. Just press play.
And Sessa Penfornum, a war drinking spots beer.
And don't go bitters, a demufua.
Cadbury Choco, ne down the Yasronko, ne buona da fem. 20 grams, ya 50 pesos. 550 grams, ya 9 cedis, 50 pesos. 1.1 kilograms, ya 18 cedis, 50 pesos. Cadbury Choco, ne down the Yasronko, ne buona da fem.
Akoto loves his family. He works hard to take care of them. So Ifya, his young daughter, can become the doctor she's always dreamt of. And Akosia, his lovely wife, can open the nursery school she talks about all the time. He can see a happy, relaxed retirement in the years to come. But life can get in the way of our dreams. Unable to work, how do their dreams come to pass? Don't let life's tragedies get in the way of your family's dreams. Get a life insurance policy from Star Life today. Star Life, your solid partner for life.
Sometimes it's gonna hurt. Sometimes you don't feel good, as you know she'll feel. But this is what you want, and if you want it, you gotta go hard for it. You don't have to stop. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. I don't find time to run. I make time to run. You are powerful. Feel like a champion. You better run with more life until you hit that finish line. When nothing goes right, go run. It's supposed to be hard. The hard is what makes it great. Run energy drink. Run to greatness.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health, not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This ad has been approved by the FDA.
Silva, amazing new bottle, same authentic taste, natural herbs, smooth and minty. Drink responsibly.
State of Affairs brought to you by Cowbell Gold and
everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back to State of Affairs. I'm talking to the Ashanti Regional Minister, the Honorable Simon Osei Mensah. Okay, so now let's talk about the Fulani herdsmen. Specifically, I want to go to Agogo. What's the current state of affairs there?
Okay. Seriously, by nature, I am not comfortable with the use of the word Fulani herdsmen, even though it's generic for now, because it's not all the cattle raiders or cattle owners who are Fulanis.
Right.
Most of them, the owners, some of them are even Ghanaians. And specifically, as you are talking about Agogo, some of the owners might even be from Agogo. So I prefer using the term herdsmen or cattle herdsmen, so that it's general, because the issue of the herdsmen is not peculiar to only Ashanti region of Ghana, and is a menace within the West African sub-region. Now, the issue at Agogo has gone down significantly. I will not say we've been able to eradicate it totally, but it's gone down significantly.
What has been the hindrance to eradicate it?
The hindrance is that, one, some of the owners hail from the area. So if you are asking the nomadics to take their cattle away from the Agogo area, you want the inhabitants, the indigenes who own cattle, they should also take theirs to which place? Because if you are saying I should take mine to wherever I brought them from, then I don't expect the indigenous cattle owners at Agogo also to take them elsewhere. They should maintain them there. And in order to completely solve this problem, I know that no problem is easily solved completely, but at least to do our best to optimize the solution, we may need to register all the cattle owners and their cattle and then tag them, so that if any cattle is caught maybe destroying somebody's farm, somebody's property, we can trace and get to the owner of the cattle, and then whatever discussions that should ensue, we take it up from there.
But so far, you're satisfied with the cow leg operation?
I'm very, very much satisfied, because this issue, you see, has been there for 25 years. That is 1/4 of a century, let me say that, or if you like, 2.5 decades. And we've not been able to solve it. At least the bold initiative we took has calmed down the place, and the place is calm now. Fortunately, this year we never heard of any death. 2017, fortunately, we never heard of any death, except the unfortunate shooting of some of the security personnel who were put in the area to protect life and property, and then to ensure that this issue of cattle destroying farmlands will not occur. That is the only unfortunate thing, that because of those shootings. But January is good, it's calm. I think I'm satisfied.
Would you expect to see the same national approach to dealing with the issue of tramadol abuse?
Okay. Tramadol, first of all, is not a bad drug in itself. It's a drug that is used as a major painkiller, especially in surgery and some arthritis, serious arthritis, and some others. The level of abuse which is causing the problem. One, if we will not totally ban tramadol, assuming we cannot have a perfect substitute for it, then we have to look at the process of getting tramadol into the country and how to track it. it should be a strictly prescribed drug.
It is at the moment.
You see, that's why I use the strictly. Now it's there as a prescribed drug. Who is monitoring? Nothing. 2, anybody who is found illegally bringing tramadol, especially those heavy doses one, into the country, there should be serious penalty for that. Even if the person has import license, it could be taken away from the person permanently, and then the person will face the legal action, go to court, whatever decision the court takes, we impose the necessary penalties. And then anybody who sells without prescription, that person too must be sanctioned. And the one going to buy also with that prescription must also be sanctioned. One problem I have continuously lamented in this country is the fact that we are very quick and excellent on writing laws. When it comes to implementation, some aspects we are good, the other aspects very bad. That is the sanctioning aspect. We implement the law, but when it comes to sanctioning, we can't sanction. That's the difficulty we have. So if now we have the laws there, we are saying it should be prescribed, blah, 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 blah. But when the time comes that somebody is found wanting, we find it difficult to implement or enforce the sanctioning regime. And in this particular case, if we want to have a very fruitful, reliable, healthy youth, then we have to enforce the sanctions strictly without any fear or favor.
Okay, let's move away from that and look at transportation challenges in the Ashanti region. And I want to tie it to roads as well in the Ashanti region. Let's start with transportation. I mean, what has been your plan so far? What did you meet when you took over?
All for, transportation in the Ashanti region is predominantly by the private sector. If you come to the public sector, we only have the Metro Miles, we have the STC. These are predominantly the two public sector means of transport. Our focus now is on getting some of the one they call Ayalulu. I think that's what people will to start operating in Kumasi and the adjoining municipalities as a test run, as a pilot, to see the viability of that one. But going forward, our major concentration is on the railway development. The Western Line, the Eastern Line, development of railway to the inland port, the proposed inland port, and then light rail within the city, which I think if we should get excellent lorry parks or parking spaces, and we have light train, people can easily park and use the light train to minimize the enormous congestion in the central business area of the city. The reason why the railway line is important is that, one, most of the vehicles coming to Ashanti and beyond, to the north, that is to Bravo, to Upper East, Upper West, Northern region, and then our neighboring countries like Mali, Niger, etc. These heavy articulated vehicles do ply on our routes, and that affects seriously the longevity or the duration of the routes. And as such, the roads get spoiled quickly than expected. If we have railway line, the heavy goods could be transported using the railway. The Buankra Inland Port, I've said time and time again, even before I became Member of Parliament, that to a large extent, some aspects of the project were ill-planned, because in proper project management, a project is supposed to solve a problem. A project is expected upon completion to resolve a challenge. So before you even start the project and you define your objects and then the aims, you ask yourself, what is the problem I'm going to solve? Then that will influence the objectives and the aims of that particular project. If you are building an inland port, what do you want to resolve? To me, there are two key areas so far as Ghana is concerned. One is to reduce the use of heavy vehicles from between Accra and Kumasi. Two, to minimize the often unnecessary congestions that you have at our ports, especially during the major cocoa seasons, when cocoa is being cut to the ports for export. So if you have this, one, you don't want the heavy trucks to use the road. Two, you don't want the congestion, which means that you don't want more articulated vehicles to get to the port. So how do you solve it? Then it means you need an efficient bulk transport carriage system. And now, which one is the most effective? It's the railway. So that if you have railway from Tema to Buankra, then it can catch the goods, maybe the containers, whatever, to Buankra, then articulated within Ashanti, part of Western, Branhafo, the three northern regions, and getting to our neighbors. They can come and take them from there. So that at least one, all these articulated trucks will not get to Tema or Takoradi. Two, they will not use the road between Kumasi and Takoradi or the road between Kumasi and Tema, and the pressure will be reduced. So that if an asphalt road between Accra and Kumasi is meant to last for 50 years, then you are sure that even if you don't get the 50 years, you get something close to 40.
Okay.
But not now. After 10 years, the whole thing is gone and you have to go and spend some money. So once the fundamental thing that should have been done, the fundamental consideration is how do we get railway network to Buankra?
But do you feel your government can deliver it? It was one of your promises. In fact, there's a ministry dedicated to that.
We've discussed with them and hopefully they will deliver.
Hopefully.
Yes, they will deliver.
Hopefully. Okay. And then also, I mean, since we are talking about roads and transport challenges in your area, let's talk about cocoa roads. Farmers in general, they claiming that some of the roads, because the Ashanti region is quite a food basket, and so if farmers incessantly complain that they are unable to cart their produce from the farm to even the nearest market center because the roads are terrible. I mean, in those areas you don't need trains, you just need a truck or a small caravan to carry your goods for you. But if the roads are so bad and they're deteriorating by the day, it's affecting the farmers. Did you meet any plan to get these farmers the kind of successes they want?
Oh, I'll talk about the road sector in general, and at the end, focus on your main question or the actual question you pose. The challenges in the road sector is one of the fundamental considerations of the Regional Coordinating Council.
Right.
Because effective, efficient road network has significant implications on the economy of both individuals and the society in general. The road in Ashanti region is bad. As at the time I took over, by the statistics that was available, it was the third from the bottom.
Okay.
It was only Eastern region and Central region that were performing poorer than us. But even that, If you look at the length of the routes, I would say they were not performing poorer. But in relative terms, that is when they see that they were. But if you talk about the actual nominal distances, we were the worst. So that is one major concern. Even in Kumasi, the little time we have, even though some people say the government has been in power for 2 years, I always beg to differ. Even in natural terms, the government has been in power for 16 months, 1 year, 4 months, and that was yesterday. Because the president was sworn in on the 7th of January, 2017. So it's about, you can say, 1/3 years, not 2 years. And then, secondly, until me, myself, I became the regional minister, I had a very low knowledge about the road sector and award of contracts.
Right.
The regime change has effect on the rate you can move within the first year. There are 2 types of regime changes. The same party government changing hands to the same party government.
Right.
That is the presidency that will change, the head of the presidency that will change. When it happens like that, it takes a shorter period for the formation of the government. Then the other type, which is different party government changing over to a different party government. The whole major part of the whole government structure changes. So even though this time we said the president did well, this is the shortest period a president has used in the formation of the government, it still took about 3 months. So for that 3 months, he was appointing ministers, deputy ministers, boards. There are even some instances when even the minister is in place, the deputy minister is in place, if the board or the commission is not in place, there are several things you can do, right, because you require the approval of the commission or the board. And any minister worth his or herself, if you are given the responsibility to administer any ministry or any department, you need not less than 2-3 months to review what you've inherited. And it's after that you can start doing effective work. So that would mean the first 6 months is gone. And my sister, one day, just go to the various road departments, either highways, urban roads, or feeder roads, ask them. It takes the minimum you can have in procuring a road contract is about 6 months. So it's now that we've got some of the roads, especially those with huge concerns, that have been awarded or in the process of being awarded on contracts. Recently, I held a press conference to brief the people of the region as to some of the routes. And I'm assuring you, if you come here next year, God willing, you see a different Kumasi with a different road network.
We will be counting down.
Yes, count.
We'll count down.
Yes.
All right.
Then, we have 30 in the area of urban roads. We have 30, which are in the procurement process. 8 major ones have been awarded and handed over to the contractors.
Right.
Some have started, some are moving. One moved to site this week, others are moving to site next week. So even if that one is started, it will cover about 1/4 of the road network in central business district area of Kumasi. And that one is Asfatu Valley. It's not bitumen surfacing. It's not pothole patching. It's not resealing. It's not shoulder repairs. But Asfatu Valley.
Okay.
Then, if you go to the area of feeder roads, 54 have been approved. 41 is more or less in similar to the cocoa roads. Because that is reshaping of roads to make them motorable, especially with the onset of the rains.
Right.
Then you have 13, which are mainly bitumen surfacing. If you go to highways, about 90 in all. And out of the 90, few are just roadside marking and clearing of the roadsides, and then the maintenance of the median of the roads. But the rest, we have bitumen surfacing, and then some will be graveling, and then also reshaping. So if you look at this within the short period, what we have to pray is that we make sure that we monitor them closely. Last week, Thursday, I had a meeting with all the contractors who have been handed their awards and requested from them that all that I need and what the president needs, what Ghanaians need from them is quality roads and nothing else. We will start.
Are they all Ghanaian contractors, or is a mix of Ghanaian and foreign?
Only at the forum, only one that wasn't a Ghanaian, or that isn't a Ghanaian.
Okay.
And I know there's this road also, the Lake Road, the dualization has been awarded to a Chinese company. They have not come to site. But predominantly, about 90-something%, they are all Ghanaians.
All right.
So if all these roads are undertaken, you'll be sure that we will not say we get to pay. No. Even though no government can fix all the roads in the country, even the next 10, 15 years. That one will be a mirage. Anybody who thinks about that, I don't know what resources the person is going to take to do that. But there will be significant improvement on our roads. And we are going to ensure monitoring. The monitoring is not only going to be at the regional coordinating council level. I'm taxing every metro, municipal, and district chief executive that any road contract, and for that matter, any other contract, development project that is under your jurisdiction, I hold you solely responsible for the monitoring and supervision. If there are problems and you don't alert me, maybe I come to find out. Then we have something to talk about.
Right. Okay. Let's take our very final break. We'll come back with the Ashanti Regional Minister.
State of Affairs brought to you by Cowbell Gold and
Everywhere You Go, MTN.
A brave African queen fought many battles to protect her family from hungry mosquitoes that may carry malaria parasites. Until one day she discovered something new.
Discover new Raid Day and Night, 3 sprays on 1 poster for 24-hour mosquito protection for the whole family. The future of mosquito protection is here. The revolution will be peaceful. Raid Day and Night. It's good to be tough.
SC Johnson, a family company.
Akoto loves his family. He works hard to take care of them. So Ifya, his young daughter, can become the doctor she's always dreamt of. And Akosia, his lovely wife, can open the nursery school she talks about all the time. He can see a happy, relaxed retirement in the years to come. But life can get in the way of our dreams. Unable to work, how do their dreams come to pass? Don't let life's tragedies get in the way of your family's dreams. Get a life insurance policy from Star Life today. Star Life, your solid partner for life.
Everybody drink our coffee, smiling every sunshine day. Everybody do what you're doing, smiling every sunshine day. Everybody do what you're doing. Your smile will bring a sunshine day.
Drink up
the celebration. We're together. Join your hands in harmony. Everybody do what you're doing. Smiling every sunshine day.
Everybody start every day with delicious, nutritious Cowbell coffee.
and have a sunshine day.
Everybody drink our coffee. Smile and have a sunshine day. Woo!
With MTN Momo, you can take your bank with you everywhere you go. Dial *170# and follow the prompts. Connect your bank account to your Momo wallet to load and transfer money between your wallet and your bank account. Take your bank with you everywhere you go with MTN Momo.
No. Nukro. Alomo die edulubuna edumunae. Senya alomo bitesa masa forget it.
Casapreco Alomo Betes, authentically African.
Sa pepe.
Digitization means more interconnected risks to every organization. Businesses of the future require integrated, comprehensive view of risk to make good decisions. Most organizations manage their governance, risk, and compliance in isolated silos. Yet, the regulatory and accountability obligations require managing these in an integrated way. Transform your company for the future. Be at the Africa GRC Summit 2018 to learn how all your business units can work together for effective GRC.
Welcome to SolarTech, the #1 manufacturer of innovative products in power protection. The SolarTech Maxima UPS will provide clean, high-level quality power to fully protect mission-critical devices such as sensitive networks, computer centers, servers, telecom applications, as well as industrial applications. The Maxima UPS has an eco-mode operation for energy saving and smart battery charger designed to optimize battery performance. It has an output factor of 0.8 and a wide input range of 110 volts to 300 volts. The SolarTech Maxima UPS comes in 3 kVA to 6 kVA models. Other modules are available on request. Remember, stay original. Buy SolarTech. SolarTech, the power to protect.
Autistic children's dreams come true during Verna Mineral Water rebranding launch.
Most of the times, people ignore such kids and they tag them as evil kids or they are cursed and all that, but that's not true. Putting a smile on every child's face, regardless of their condition, is a major responsibility of our society, and I am pleased to be a part of this today.
In this life, the best thing you can do is to make someone else happy, or basically make people around you happy.
Drinking and buying Verna Mineral Water, you help many people out there, like our beautiful sisters over here, and all the many people that Verna Mineral Water helps. Here we go. Purchase a bottle of the all-new, sleek and stylish Verna Natural Mineral Water today and support a worthy cause. Verna Mineral Water, changing people's lives.
And too many power and fear doom watching. And says up in for noon. I will drinking spots beer.
And don't go bitters. A demufua.
State of Affairs brought to you by Cowbell Gold and
everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back to State of Affairs from the office of the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah. Now, just to wrap up the show, one thing I'd like to talk to you about is education in the Ashanti region. We know that a lot of you, including yourself, are very well educated, but there are also instances where you start talking about the Ashanti region and everybody talks about funerals. How the Ashantis love their funerals and the amount of money spent on funerals and the number of days dedicated to funerals. I mean, does it worry you at all? You grew up here and it's been like this forever. Does it worry you at all?
Yeah, funerals, I agree, in Ashanti region, we cherish our departed souls, and people think the means of demonstrating our love, our care for them is the type of funeral we observe ultimately. So we do find some very expensive funerals, depending on the pockets of the family. Even now, we've adopted some other aspects which are foreign to us. Aspects which the other regions were rather using. We've rather adopted some, because previously when I was a child, hardly will you find somebody at a funeral and preparing fufu, rice, jollof, and pesi at a funeral. Hardly. This is why we adopted.
It wasn't a thing of the Ashantis.
No, it wasn't a thing of the Ashantis. You only, those days you could take only kenke. With soup or maybe sauce or something. We used not to eat. Even in the family, they would not prepare fufu and all those things. But this time we've adopted it. Even at the funeral grounds, we eat fufu, we eat all these things. That one is foreign to us.
Right.
It has also minimized some in other areas. Now throughout the region, except the affluent ones, during 1 week, people will serve only water.
Right.
And possibly soft drinks.
So things are changing.
They are changing. Thirdly, you could go to funerals in your hometown almost every week previously. Let me take my hometown, for instance. I remember when I was in Accra, when I was working at City House. Almost every weekend, I had to come to my hometown for a funeral, because you see this person is related to you, that is related, and say, oh, this your friend's relative has passed away, your own family member has passed away, that person, and it was bringing us back almost every weekend.
Right.
Now the situation has changed. In most towns in Ashanti region, villages in Ashanti region, funerals are conducted once in a month.
Right.
So that they will accumulate, and then on a particular day, they will perform. So if you come, my hometown sometimes we can come and meet about 12, 11, 10 funerals. So you just move from one funeral to the other, you give your donation, and then at the end of the day you leave.
Right.
It saves you time instead of coming every week. Cost of fuel, and when you come, the aggregation of the expenditure will be relatively higher than if you come once. So that has also changed.
Okay. But are people taking advantage of the free SHS?
Seriously.
Okay.
I'm sure we will be one of the regions with the highest intake of people for SHS1. People are taking advantage. Gone are those days when they see Ashantis were not going to school. It's changed drastically.
But was it ever true?
It wasn't only Ashantis. It was generally in the country. Exactly. Yes. Because you see, somebody's father might be a cattle rearer, or owns a cattle. Say, oh, go and help me.
Yeah.
So after first cycle, sometimes after primary, the person is lured into that type of business and remains there. Most of our people were cocoa farmers, and they needed farm hands. So especially, I'm sorry, it was unfortunate that it happened mostly to the females, the girls. Say, oh, you go and help your mom and then or your dad on the farm and let your brother go to school.
Right.
Others too, when there were these heterogeneous type of marriages, a man having about 3 wives, 4 wives, and each giving birth to a child within a particular year, and all of them will have to go to school almost at the same time. You realize that because the pocket cannot meet the expenditure, you say, oh, could you come and help me on my farm, and then because he go school, that type of things. But now you hardly witness that. Everybody has realized that the greatest asset you can give to your child is education. That is the only asset. Nobody can take it away from you. Absolutely. Unless you decide to share. When you are going, when the Almighty Father calls you to eternity, you go with it. So if you don't write anything, you don't share with people orally or something, it's your own asset. Your father, your relatives can bequeath to you several houses, several properties. Somebody will just go to the law court and start maybe some law cases or suits, files on suits against you, and can take all those assets from you. But dedication, unless you are killed, and if you are killed, you go with it.
Exactly. Thank you so much for talking to us on State of Affairs. That was the Ashanti Regional Minister, the Honorable Simon Osei Mensah, talking to us. The show was brought to you by Cowbell, and we'll see you next week.
State of Affairs brought to you by Cowbell Gold and
Everywhere you go, MTN.